All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to the marketing call. We are here with Sven and Joseph. Thanks for joining. Sven is here on behalf of Incented. We have open office hours for the Incented campaign that we have going on right now. Hopefully everybody's familiar with that, but if you're not, it is a video submission campaign for marketing content for the Unlock protocol. So if you've been interested in producing video content and want to get some compensation for submitting video content to the Unlock protocol, this is the method that you can follow to achieve that goal. So yeah, I'll turn it over to Cece and she can take it from here.
Thank you, Trix, and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Sven, for coming in. And hopefully, we can get all these questions or any kind of feedback that you would like to have or get from us. That's the main thing that we have organized these office hours for Incentive. And yeah, really pumped because people are coming in with their submissions. Right now, I just have checked, and we have a new submission uploaded. Right now, we have three, which is nice. And I think if people don't get quite fast, then this could be a really tough decision to make between the submitters that are live right now. But it's also a good opportunity for you to join and submit your videos. So, how are you, Sven?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys. Pretty excited about what's going on. I think we need to drum up a bit more publicity, I guess. It's an underrated opportunity, let me just say, for anyone who is listening. There's quite a few bucks at stake, actually. You can grab and show off your talent and get rewarded. The funds are allocated. They're in smart contracts, in safes just waiting for you guys. And if you submit and you get voted up in the second phase, maybe I should talk about how this works for anyone who is hearing this for the first time here in a second. But yeah, if you win, I mean, there's 600 USDC on the line right now, 30,000 up tokens. I think that's a lot, right? Like for these kind of creator programs we always see, let's be honest, what do you usually get? Some sort of magical points somewhere. Who cares? This is actual money, guys. But yeah, if you want me to kind of outline just the rough, how does it work situation, or where I go wherever you guys want me to go today.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, let's dive in this first phase that we are right now. So, what they need to do, what they how the mechanics works in this first phase, and then I think we can jump to the second phase because we are like 3 days, a little bit less than 3 days
Yep.
for people to submit their videos and their content and participate, no, and get some votes, get people interested on their content, vote for them, and hopefully with that, having the winners for this initiative made by Unlock Protocol and Incentive.
Yeah, that's right. We have 2 hours and 2 days and 20 hours left, roughly, for submissions. So that's the phase we are in right now. And once submissions close, voting starts. I'll talk about that in a second. But all of the details are on the campaign itself. And those are, of course, driven by the lovely people from Unlock and well thought out. You see all of the branding guidelines, the social media guidelines, everything is in there. So you should have all of the context to really produce a video that can also make a difference, right? Like, of course, the goal here is, and let's not talk around it, that there is valuable content generated for the Unlock community, right? If rising tides lifts all ship kind of mentality is behind this, and if you create such content, you'll be rewarded. You'll be paid for it. Simple as that. So yeah, scan the QR code on the screen to get to the campaign. And if you have any questions specifically on anything, on the guidelines and the campaign itself, I think Cece is the better to answer. Yep, there it is. But on how the mechanics work, it should be relatively self-explaining. Once you get in, you click the submit button, and it gives you a pre-prepared form where you fill in all of your information, upload the video, add links to your social profile so that you can also get attribution back from the Unlock community once your content piece is posted. So don't forget about that. And once you're submitted, and in about 3 days, the voting window opens, which I think, let me check, runs from August 7th to the 21st. So quite a bit of time. And that was chosen intentionally, right? So we didn't want to just have like a 1 or 2 day window to vote, because then you really only get the votes from the most active members in the community, which is great. But we wanted to give every contributor also an opportunity to rally their own supporters, right? Their own friends and family and their own community. And what you can actually do in the voting cycle is anyone that holds any up token can vote. So, and I think it's relatively affordable right now. So frankly, you can probably make a big impact on just getting a couple of your friends buying a few up tokens and upvoting you. And once that happens, everyone who gets above the 51% threshold is a winner. That's it, basically.
And to be clear, there's not like a snapshot or anything on the voting, right? It's just if you have up tokens in your wallet when you open the voting window, then you qualify. So you can buy tokens to vote with during the votes window.
Exactly. So this is the right time to buy up tokens and have them on your wallet already ready. And when the time comes of voting period, then you will be all set to vote for any of the proposals that are up and right now submitted. So this is also a great time for you as creator to also share about not only Unlock Protocol and your video, but also about this possibility for them to vote for your video that you have already submitted. So this is something also very, very important. And just to be clear, and because many of you could think, okay, so this could be like any kind of content. And that's not really the case. So if you scan the QR code, you will get to our campaign, our page on the campaign, and you will see all the guidelines and what we are looking for as content. And basically, it's just for you to pick a kind of audience, so you can create the content related to that audience. So let's say you are a community event organizer, let's say, then you can focus on that kind of audience and share what are your pains about organizing these kind of events and not having control about, for example, your event ticketing, or maybe the certifications about your event and the people that have attended your event. So those are some use cases that fortunately Unlock Protocol solves. So then you can create any kind of videos about that. And is there a limit for, I don't know, videos that you would like to submit? No. And that's a great thing, because then you have multiple options and multiple possibilities for you to get some part of the prize pool, because those each video could be voted independently, and then each video could have a different result. So then you have more possibilities if you think about it. Then
I have a question for Sven based on that. So, and we'll probably get into this more when we get into the voting stage. I know right now we're just trying to drum up content, but since we're talking about it, I want to make sure people are clear on how the tokens impact voting. When you place a vote, does it reserve the tokens that you vote with for that vote, or can you vote on multiple submissions with the same tokens?
Yeah, great question. And it's adjacent to what I wanted to touch on anyway, the slashing. And so I guess let me recap on like what a voting mechanism in Incented is, because I think CZ pointing out, or Triggs, one of you pointed out that it's not a snapshot, right? So it's not, our voting mechanism was intentionally designed differently. And the first inclination might sound like, well, okay, then I can just, vote myself up forever, right? And yes, technically, that is not untrue, but our voting mechanism is what we call the carrot and the stick, right? So we differentiate between submissions and the creator side and the voter and curator side. They can, but must not be the same necessarily. So what does the carrot and stick mechanism mean? What we believe that every contribution in a community such as Unlock should be rewarded. And that includes voting and curation, because that is work, right? It's not just, okay, pick at random because, well, maybe they win and you get a reward, because statistically that won't work. But we do want you to spend the time and actually pick your favorites, evaluate them accordingly to the guidelines that the campaign actually outlined, right? Basically what Cici described. What is Unlock looking for? Was that submission delivering that? And if you believe in that, if you believe in the submission and its quality, you should upvote it. If you upvote it and you were correct, quote unquote, we'll get to what that means, then you get rewarded, right? So there is the voting rewards pool, if you look at the campaign, is actually going to the curators. So the 30,000 up is going to the people who decide on what passed the quality bar. However, if you vote randomly and just on everything, say, because, oh, well, if I vote on everything, maybe I'll get a reward for sure, right? Again, yes, sure, you could speculate that way. But if you pay attention, there's something that's called the slash percentage, and that's the stick, right? So if you are voting without conviction and without actually looking at the thing, then you're probably going to be slashed. Slashing just means that we keep 10% off your voting power. And now that is a long way to come around to the actual question from Triggs. You vote by actually staking your tokens. So those tokens go into the same safe. So there's always multi-sig safes behind every single campaign that are controlled by the Unlock team themselves. You put them at risk with every single vote. So no, you cannot vote with the same token twice. You would need more. That token is at risk, and at the end of the voting period, we tally up. And if you voted for the applicants that passed that winner selection quorum bar, 51% in this case, then you get rewarded. If you voted for one that didn't pass that bar, you lose 10% off your vote. You get the rest back, but the 10% is just our mechanism to say, yo, look, don't go in this blind, right? Like, voting, yes, is work, but we don't want you to be a grifter and just try to get the rewards here without caring about what the community actually is asking for.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point to draw attention to with the submissions, because we do want to encourage people to go out there and tell your friends, tell your family, tell your community about your submission so that they can come and participate in the Unlock community. But more importantly, we want people to understand the Unlock community. So if you're bringing in people to vote for your submission, it's crucial that they understand why we want this content and what it's for, because the the long-term unlock community members that have significant amounts of unlock tokens already are going to be using those tokens to ensure that bad content doesn't get approved. So there's going to be people that are going to be downvoting content that doesn't meet the criteria. So if you come in and submit something that's unrelated to the goals of this campaign, and you get a bunch of your friends all to buy tokens and upvote your content, the entire rest of the unlock community is going to be downvoting that content because it doesn't match the guidelines of the criteria. So that's when you put yourself at risk. So that the highest risk action is to make uninformed voting decisions in this campaign. If you inform yourself and you inform your community and your friends as to why or what exactly it is Unlock's looking for and what's going to get upvoted by the Unlock community, then they can align themselves with the Unlock community and vote in the same fashion. Now, there's some subjectiveness here. So some people might feel that a submission is good quality and meets the guidelines, and other people might disagree. And that'll be an interesting thing for us to find out through this process. But the guidelines are pretty clear and pretty specific. And while the majority of the exclusions are going to be about the irrelevance of the content or the lack of meeting the structural guidelines, it's not in the right format, it's something that we can't actually physically share on our platforms because it wasn't prepared and processed properly. So like it's really important that you meet all of these specific guidelines, and then there's a lot of room for creativity and personal expression that will be less impactful on whether or not you get approved and more impactful on how the content is received once it gets approved. Approval is largely based around following the guidelines and making sure the content is relevant. As long as you follow those guidelines and your content's relevant, then everyone within the Unlock community and the people that you bring in to support your content will all be in alignment and have a similar vote, and everyone will be rewarded for that collaboration. But if you act independently, isolate yourself from the community, and you refuse to connect with the goals and the purpose of the campaign, it's likely that you're going to get downvoted and you risk losing, whatever tokens you put up to vote with.
What maybe to add to this is, I would actually argue that uninformed voting is the biggest danger, but you as the creator have the biggest lever to act against this from day one, right? And that's basically what Triggs is describing here, is if you create aligned content, you already basically pass the internal community's review bar, right? Everyone in the community, every long-standing community member has already basically agreed to this outline because, of course, this went through a voting process in the DAO before this campaign ever went live. So everyone is aligned on that. And so you take their downvote tendency away by just following that. And the other point we already touched on as well is you can submit multiple videos. And so if you're that subjective layer, if you're not 100% sure, and first of all, you can also join the community and actually have, participate in the discourse and ask those questions, right? I have these 3 ideas, which one resonates most before you do the work. But if you don't want to do that yet, make all 3, right? Make all 3 videos. Maybe one's animated, one's talking head, and a third, right? That's up to you. And I think that, again, is by design, because the more submission, the better. Luckily, today, we live in an age where execution isn't necessarily the bottleneck. If you're creative enough and you can produce 1 video, you can probably produce 3 in less effort than 3x, right? Because of all of the tooling we have around it now. So, yeah, I think let your creative spirit fly. Submit more than 1 is absolutely what I would recommend. I would if I could. It's certainly a conflict of interest of me submitting, but you catch my drift.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, basically that's why the campaign is also up, because we definitely believe on the creatives and creators, because most of them are part of the community. They have set also Unlock as their tool to get their income directly to their wallets. So obviously, then why not creating more content about the tool that you are already using, or maybe that you think that you will use because right now you haven't set up still, but you were already researching and digging into Unlock and thinking about how you can use it on your benefit. So then this is the right place and the right time for you also to share that kind of experience, because it's also creative. It's part of that process that you are experiencing. And maybe that's the thing, you are not alone. Most of the creative people are experiencing the same. So sharing that is also really, really helpful for them, for you, for the community, for us. And that's why this campaign is also up for you. So, yeah, I think we have covered like everything. Please share any kind of questions, any kind of comments that you have, so we can address them. We can see anything that could be related to that that can help you, and let you submit to the campaign your video and your creation. I'm really not sure. Maybe Trix, you can help us there. If because we are streaming on YouTube, right?
Yeah, YouTube and LinkedIn,
Oh,
and
awesome.
and also Twitter.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. So just send us your comment on any of those platforms, and we sure be able to address them uh, at any point of time.
Can I share my feedback here?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yes. I was thinking on doing a video about how Unlock Protocol works with composability and stackability. I
Mhm.
think it's a topic that is interesting, but it's not something that everybody has in their mindset when they go about Web3. Although that for me is like the key stuff. So I would like to make a video about composability, stackability, and also another question. Well, that was another question. That was more like an idea I just had. But a question would be if this type of content creation idea is going to be like something regular, or this is just a one-shot campaign, or what is the future of this kind of incentives of on content creation goes for content creators like me that are looking to do more videos.
Mhm. Well, first of all, this campaign is like a Kickstarter for people that are new to Unlock or don't know how to use it or all that stuff. And obviously, this will be like a one-time campaign. We will see if we can reiterate a new version and a new season of that. That's something that after evaluation at the DAO, we can think about that, and definitely considering also a budget and all that stuff. But besides this campaign, also Unlock has a creator program where you can do a content contribution, like a steadily, monthly, for any kind of content. It could be a written format, video format, and this could be also long and short format. So you can join that at any point of time. In fact, you can join now and start contributing content for a regular basis. And we do these retro funding contributions, content contributions, rewards monthly, where we see what content has been contributed. It gets some kind of evaluation in some kind of point format, and that kind of point format becomes up token reward. So if you are interested in participating in that, then that would be a nice try also that you can do with our content contribution program.
Oh yeah, I think it hits my alley. Where I can find like information about it, like to read it.
Sure. You can find it on our Telegram group chat in
Mm.
the marketing channel specifically, and you can find all the whole information on the pinned comment. And also, if you still have questions and need like more of that, you can ping me, and definitely I will be able to answer your questions. And I think we have already posted also on our socials. I will find it out for you, so you can also check it out.
Yeah, that was a really great question. I appreciate that. And just to kind of reiterate, the goal of this campaign is to feed our content pipeline. So the content pipeline has existed for quite some time. We have community contributors that have been participating, and so the goal of the incentive campaign was to expand that, because it isn't always necessarily the most accessible to figure out how to contribute. And all contributions up until now have just been processed internally. The marketing team approves things with an internal process. And the incentive campaign gives us a way to kind of DAOify it a little bit more, expand that circle so that all of the token holders can participate in the approval process for content generation. At this stage of unlock size and community, there's not like a desperate need for a more formalized system like incented, but the goal is for us to kind of vet this process, so as unlock grows and we get more and more contributors, we can migrate to a more decentralized, more protocolized kind of version of content approval. But right now, I personally view the incentive campaign as kind of like a recruitment effort. We're trying to recruit more content contributors with an incentivized campaign. And the goal would be to bring them into the community so that they can continually produce more content. People who are making good content that gets approved and wins the incentive campaign, we want to follow through with more content and have a steady flow of rewards flowing to these content creators. So if you win the incentive campaign, we're likely going to stay in touch with you and try to encourage you into participating on a regular basis.
Exactly.
Great. I'm interested into that. So I'm checking the format. So if you want TikTok format, it basically means that I record myself like this, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And I can put subtitles on Spanish, for example, to reach
Yes,
out
totally.
international audience. Okay. Okay, and I was thinking to do some original music in the background with my guitar to have it as sound, because that's my main thing. So I would like to find a way to be composable and stackable into the whole concept of the content. But then I think this can be somewhat something regular I can bring to the table because it's something I want to explore right now. So
Mhm.
okay, it feels like a good way a good first step. So I'm gonna take the time to have something maybe in 2 days. I'm going to check through the docs and see what I come up that feels funny enough.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, already.
Hey,
Great. I like that composability idea that Jose is sharing. So yeah, really, really pumped to watch it.
Yeah, it's a great double entendre there because
also So
he's going to compose his music around the composability of
yeah.
Unlock.
Yeah, and actually, something that is happening right now is that I joined to this chat through the SAO, through Sol. We were in
Mhm.
an activity that didn't kick off, so I decided to join here. And the idea I wanted to do in the previous meeting was that I wanted to write, I wanted to make a blog about the conversation we had during the activity, but that never happened. So now I'm doing a post about how I was in that activity, and now I'm here and I'm going to share the promotion of these in the content because I want to schedule that content to be shared tomorrow. So composability is something that that's why I say holder of the vibe, because you can hold the vibe and you can have like consistency across one action a day or something that compounds into something that is not anymore what it was at the beginning, but it's not also the final step you gave, but the whole like system arborescent like process.
Mhm. Awesome. Love it.
Beautiful. Well said.
Totally.
I also think the composability angle fits well, right? Like one of the guidelines in the campaign is pick your audience, and your audience in that case is maybe composed of other developers as
Nerds.
well. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think yeah, I mean composability is something I want everybody to know more. So sometimes you even got the nerd, but being a nerd is so much edges. I think even I was thinking on coming with a type of content, like be somebody who explains composability and stackability to people and in an overall range and shows different projects that has it, because it's something that, if I found composable stackable products, fuck it, I'm a Web3 native, and I am a blockchain agnostic, so I can put the pieces in the way that has the most coherence to come up with something that is the structure of the new internet that everybody can make. So I really think people needs to know about it so they can have empowerment, so they can unlock empowerment, wink wink. So I think to come with something around that idea.
Yeah, and I think Unlock is the perfect example for this, right? Like, being a nerd myself, I love that, right? Like I love the tech side of it and really the theory of it, but also there's just millions and millions of people out there who don't speak nerd. And I think making that concept accessible for them through use cases and examples that you can show what you can do with a composable protocol like Unlock makes the concept and at the same time the product you are showcasing it with, in this case Unlock, uh, the perfect tool to put together, I think.
Yeah, there's a abstraction issue, and now people are looking to bypass having to know. So from the beginning of this year, I started to realizing that the new marketing of Web3 was about abstraction. No more explaining RWA, no more explaining what DeFi V3 was, but just telling people
Mhm.
use this tool to do what you do, but faster. And then you missed the key on the concepts that maybe felt uh, like the food and the essence behind it, the architecture. But it's because you are an architect, and not everybody knows about that beauty when they are in the Vatican. They are just like, oh my god, this is really beautiful, but they don't understand how it works in the terms of architecture. So there has to be abstraction at the same time. The nerds cannot lose the chat and the combo on what it's the meaning behind the wall, right? So it's like a double-edged process. You have the local Web3 native community that yes you will be speaking to, but it's an echo chamber. You don't want to sell it to because
They
it's
already
me,
get
it's
it.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We already know. Like good luck. Like on board my mom. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard though, right? I think this is an interesting thought track that comes up over and over. As a matter of fact, I just had a conversation about this very thing this morning, not having anything to do with Web3, but Web3 makes it harder because the concepts are deeper by definition.
Mm.
But frankly, most people just don't care, right? Like most people don't ever want to know how it works. They just want a solution to the problem they have. and they want
works.
it explained in what they understand. And I think that is really the essence of what this program or this campaign is supposed to empower from as many vantage points as possible, right? Like now we're talking about the nerdy one, but there is about, I don't know, countless others. Any kind of point of view should be addressed, and that's sort of the call to action in my mind of this campaign, right? Like explain it like I'm 5, right? Like, I mean, there's so many of different vantage points we can approach it from, and we need them all, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you guys are drawing attention to such a key point, especially for Unlock, because Unlock is perfectly positioned to be abstracted in the way that we're describing here, because the infrastructure is in place. That's what Unlock has, is the infrastructure. The infrastructure is built with value alignment with the goals that spurred this industry to, kind of erupt in the first place. And so while there's so many other projects that focused more on the flash and the public narrative and selling a story, Unlock focused on making sure that they built the right infrastructure so that it is composable and it is decentralized and it has the right components to feed something different than what already exists out there in the Web 2 world. And that's where we're at right now with Unlock, is that stage of explaining to people what that infrastructure can enable for them without forcing them to have to become Web3 blockchain nerds. And all the smart contract work is resolved. You don't have to learn about smart contracts or blockchain or any of that technology in order to understand how to use Unlock, because the infrastructure is in place. The abstraction is ready to be abstracted. And all we have to do is get people to build using the protocol, and it will showcase exactly the functionality that's available. It doesn't have to showcase the infrastructure behind it, but the infrastructure will enable the use case to naturally display the value of the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And something that remind me, Jose, now talking about this composability and this nerd talk that we usually have, is that right now the market, for example, is like very in a very in a place that has like dark feelings, because it's getting down. Some protocols, some projects are closing. Some of them were used by communities like very, very much, and obviously they feel touched because of that. And that's the thing. A project can definitely wind down because many things could have not worked, but a protocol can still be used by people that not necessarily needed to like know about these nerdy tech and developer kind of things that they need to build. Um, a community could use a protocol just because they can and they will, and they don't need to know that they are using blockchain, but they can still access to those things that another project is winding down. So that's also the thing with Unlock, because Unlock as a protocol can give you access to many things, to event ticketing, to certifications. Maybe you want to get your income directly to your wallet. Then make a subscription, make a membership. So that's the thing that with Unlock, you are able to create also your revenue income uh, directly to your wallet, not depending on a project or maybe on a third party platform that they are going to take maybe, I don't know, 60, 70% of the income that you are receiving already there. So that's the thing. You will be receiving the entire income just because you have said that tool without knowing the tech, just using it. And that's the thing. And now with vibe coding is like, I don't know, amplified like 100x, because then you become the developer just because of AI. And then you can also use that to compose your income just using Unlock on that kind of project by yourself. So that's something that it's like getting more and more possibilities because of the advancement of the technology. But you not necessarily need to know all about the technology. Just start using it and start thinking, okay, so now I am using it this for this, and now I want my people and my community that already has this, I don't know, certification to access to this kind of content. And I will be receiving already that kind of income because of that integration. And that's it. So making content about that, it's also composable. Love it.
All right. Well, we are coming up on the hour. I'm not sure if we have any other topics we want to cover for related to just a generic marketing call. But otherwise, yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, I have to go. I just want to say I left a DM to Tricks on Telegram to keep exploring this. I have the time to check it out, and I came from that learning curve of understanding the abstraction next step. It has to happen for non-natives to use the tech as the same time natives does use it. So yeah, it sounds on my corner, and I'm looking forward to then that content in the next 2 days. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Awesome.
Good to see
Bye.
you
Take
again.
care. Awesome. Well, just as an update for marketing, I have been talking with Metopia because we are basically on the at the door for launching that campaign. We already announced the campaign on our social media, and basically now we have the whole campaign deployed, and we were discussing at the steward council about having their bot on our community chat because they wanted to check like how many people not only like created a log and then joined the community chat, and they are still responding me about that because there were concerns about having this external bot on our community chat, and hopefully when they answer all the questions that I have sent through the feedback that stewards have already shared, I think we will be ready to launch it, and yeah, and have it also that kind of campaign for people to join and start learning Unlock in a very peaceful and at their pace, and about using Unlock in a very playful and, I don't know, interesting way to also earning some income on app tokens just by learning how to use it, maybe how to communicate with the DAO, like how people can participate at the DAO and all that stuff. And yeah, that sure we will be having that soon live, and we will share it on social media. I think Metopia is already starting to share, so we will soon be sharing that once we clear that bot conversation and having all that ready. for people to start earning and learning.
Fantastic. Well, I think that sounds like it wraps things up. Thanks for sharing those updates. Excited for the Metopia progress and all of the opportunities for content collaborators. So if you've been listening along and you like making content, then you're in the right place. So appreciate everybody for sticking with us, and make sure you get your submissions in. The window is closing. And stay tuned for the voting process. The fun doesn't end when the content submission window closes. There's going to be almost a whole month of focused activity around voting. And it is incentivized activity as well, right? So the earning doesn't stop with content submission. We need people to follow through with participating in the voting process. Cece, did you have a screen share that you wanted to do? Is that on purpose?
Yes.
Okay, let me get that added. Here we go.
Yes, there you go. So just to remind you, here you have the timer clicking and telling you when the submission window closes. So we basically have 2 days and 19 hours left. And here are all the guidelines and what we are looking for as content. We definitely have like very, very detailed guidelines. Also, you can access to some resources for you to make the content in a branded, aligned format. And yeah, also here we have a link to our chat on Telegram, where you can join us and join the DAO and join everything that we are discussing and sharing about the protocol and things that we are doing. And yeah, that's how you can participate, and make sure to submit your application in the timely manner. So clock is ticking, and just make sure to submit it. We already have these applicants ready, and I hope we can get more, and also maybe more videos also for the same applicants. So that's it from my side, Tricks, and thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right. It's been
Thank you,
great. And
Ben.
don't forget, we have our DAO call coming up in about an hour. So if you want more unlock action, we've got it queued up for you. All right. Thanks, everybody. And just remember, we're on the alternating schedule this week. We're doubling up because of a cancellation last week. But next week, we will have just let's see, what is it next week? Just the marketing call, or is it the first of the month next week?
I
Yeah.
think
Today's the first Tuesday of the month. So yeah, next week is just the marketing call, and then the following week will be the DAO call again. So we'll just keep alternating. So keep your calendars updated, and see everybody in the DAO call in an hour.
Yeah. See you. Thank you, everyone.